Growing up in Orange County, California, I was not the only kid having an easy time in life. Orange County, particularly Newport Beach, is a place of privilege, a yachting town and beach community often satirized for the type of people that live there. Orange County is experiencing what a sociology professor of mine would call a third-generation crisis, which refers to a family whose first generation worked hard to earn the family wealth, and whose second generation works to manage the money and expand on the family's success with the opportunities given them by the previous generation. The third generation, however, grows fat and lazy and squanders the family wealth, having never been exposed to any type of work ethic. My father, fearing that I would end up in the latter generation, ran his house with a very iron fist. He stressed work ethic and character, and he never accepted excuses. I fucking hated him for it. I couldn't fathom why all my friends were allowed to coast through high school and life without worry or consequence. Meanwhile, I was forced to strive for the top tier of my academics and sports and extracurricular activities. I was resentful of his high standards and ultra-strict nature. All the luxuries I was lucky to have were just used to teach me manual labor and shame. For my friends, their swimming pool was for swimming. Mine was for cleaning. According to my dad, people that get B- on vocab tests should get used to cleaning pools, you bum! Sometimes I'd get amused by guessing what my dad would criticize me for next. Is your homework done? Yeah, Dad. How about the garage? You clean that out? Wash my car? Yeah, Dad. Oh. Well, did you shower afterwards? You just put on a bunch of cologne. You smell like a French whore. And how much time did you spend on your hair, you girl? Sorry, Dad. And take off that Danzig shirt. I don't need people around town thinking you're some kind of a ghoul. I have enough problems without thinking my son's some kind of a faggy vampire. Sorry, Dad. However, when I was 18 years old, something happened that changed my position in life. My dad suffered a fatal heart attack, and I quickly discovered in the wake of his death that his empire was built with paper bricks. He spent as much as he earned to keep his family happy, so with him went the big house and the privileges of being an OC brat. Just like that, it was over. Naturally, I had to leave Newport Beach. I had to move to a real city with real problems. Problems bigger than having to clean your own pool and getting called a pansy by your dad. I had to move to San Diego. Throughout the next 7 years, I experienced what I assumed everyone did. I experienced my own place, college, jobs, work, whatever. It was stressful being a grown-up, but I found I could handle it. I found the pressures my dad put on me were just simulations of the ones actually present in the real world. The work ethic he stressed was designed to teach me that work sucks, and life isn't always fun, but you deal with it. Sometimes you have to show up every day for a job you hate, because in the end, bills gotta get paid, and work isn't supposed to be relaxing. When the simulator was disengaged, I felt I was ready, and I didn't even know it. I was grateful for that. Years later, when I returned home, I found the town was exactly as I'd left it, full of overprivileged brats. When I visited the Goat Hill Tavern, where the majority of the town's 20-somethings all spend their time, I discovered that everyone was in the same place they'd always been, living with their parents and living on an allowance given to them in place of an earned income. I was shocked. No one was in the place a 25-year-old should be. Worse yet, none of them were willing to admit it. All of them wore some kind of delusional sense of accomplishment despite having no achievements. I asked questions to the people that I grew up with, finding they all had justifications for their immaturity. I work for my dad's business, most would say. This translates in reality to, I run some errands for my dad sometimes, and he rewards me with more money than I deserve. It's how I sleep at night. I don't really serve a purpose in life. Some would blame the poor economy for their education. They'd blame the poor economy rather than their lack of skills or education. It was as if they actually believed that once America's economy went in the toilet, all the jobs that involved laying around playing Xbox all day just dried up. They'd be very successful otherwise, especially that guy. One girl actually claimed, and had the nerve to claim, Her parents did a really bad job raising me, so I deserve all the money I get. I'm owed every cent. Another kid who decided not to go to college or to have any kind of a steady job, he wanted to pursue his dream of becoming a rock star. He claimed that he'd made it in music already. His name's Corey Davenport. He still resides with his parents. He has no source of income, but he is, to this day, positive of his celebrity status. His solo rock act is called the Corey Davenport Experience. You can catch him at the Harbor Restaurant every Wednesday night between 7:30 and 9. You can also see him this summer in either Santa Ana, Westminster, Oceanside, San Clemente, on what he calls his U.S. tour. His delusion confused me the most, I think. I've never seen a failure gloat so much in my entire life. Yeah, I know it's difficult being in the public eye, what with the autograph signings, the magazine interviews, and the road. Got the record labels all calling, asking me to do photo shoots, but I'm like, it's all about the fans, Sometimes I just want to go in seclusion to my house in the hills and just enjoy my success a little bit, You mean your dad's house, Corey? Last I heard, Corey Davenport got addicted to heroin on purpose because that's what rock stars do. He'll need something to talk about in VH1's Behind the Music someday. It's a fashionable habit, really. At least Corey had dreams. A conversation with my old friend Matt Bice turned out to be significantly less ambitious. After telling him I'd become a touring comedian while still holding down a full-time job, his response was, "Cool, man. I can clear a 4-foot bong hit now. I mean, no problem. It's a trip growing up, isn't it?" Keep living the dream, man. It seemed everyone's biggest achievement in life was turning 21 and being legally allowed to drink. They were stuck in high school and they didn't seem to mind. They had no concept that they were living in their late 20s and turning 30 while still at their parents' house was just around the corner. I felt like I was visiting Never Never Land, full of a bunch of lost boys without even a Peter Pan to lead them. Nobody was ashamed of their uselessness, but rather afraid of growing up. For them, growing up meant finally having to face the real world, where days are 8 to 10 hours long and beach days can only be in the weekends. What a drag growing up. I still sometimes visit Newport Beach. I've learned not to mention how stressful a 50-hour work week is to the people that live there because hearing, "Oh, tell me about it," is very aggravating from someone that doesn't have a job. More frustrating is I can't see a moral to this story. Sure, I work for a living, I make it on my own steam, but the people there aren't broke, they aren't homeless, they aren't struggling. They continue to get something for nothing and live as well or better than I do. I guess it's just a sense of pride that separates me from them. I'll always be able to work, and then work hard, no matter what happens. I'm equipped for that. If my boss ever gets fed up with me, I can just go across the street and get a new boss and have a new source of income. I'm pretty sure none of the people in Orange County could find another parent willing to support their leisurely lifestyle if their parents ever get fed up with them. And if you ask them, they'd probably tell you that's never going to be an issue. Life's a party, and the money will always be there. Back in 2003, there was an 18-year-old kid who had a father with a weak heart that probably would have said the same thing. I'm Ryan Shores. Thanks a lot.